Hello everyone, it's me Papi, and today I'm gonna be showing you some tips and tricks and position on Havana. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please be sure to give it a like, and as usual, don't forget to share any thoughts in the comment section below. Enjoy.
Sick, left side.
I'm on.
Not bad.
Yo, fuck.
Traveling to Havana.
So on Havana offense, usually you would love to stay on this window to understand more about what's gonna happen. So for example, if they're trying to play some kind of a brawl and stay in front of your spawn, you would know how to proceed. So I'm gonna give you some quick tips on how to approach if they're playing outside of your spawn. So what you need to do is just stay here on the left side, preferably left side, because the sight line here is longer for you and you can actually poke from a longer distance. And you can poke as much as you want, or you can be sneaky. If they're going on the far right side to contest your team, you can be sneaky and you can try to rotate yourself to this corner here. So from here you have many options and opportunities to poke the enemy team from behind and deal immense damage, which will eventually result in probably killing the enemy, especially if they don't chase you and try to kill you. You can stay here, you can take the mini, you can use healing station and do a lot of stuff to be annoying and to try to find those backline kills and being able to push the payload further. So that being said, let's say that they're not keeping you in the spawn and they're playing here on this corner. So as a first approach, use the payload as a natural cover. Try to not pick those spots over there, because usually there is a Widowmaker, Ashe or Hanzo player which is trying to snipe. But whatever, like, use the natural cover and DPS the shields. Like from here you cannot one-shot anyone. You can only apply constant pressure to tanks. This will allow your tanks to take the space that the enemy tanks will give, and eventually the DPS itself, the enemy DPS itself, will have to give the space also. So let's say that you're being able to push the payload to here. You can try to find a fast right side flank rotation from here. The idea is you have mini, you can poke in a closer range here, find the kill, and you can also rotate to this side. But be very careful, because usually you might get contested here from there, there, and also from the high ground. So be very careful when you're doing that. And from here you have some options to DPS. What else you can do from here is, like, first you can constantly apply pressure from this side, or you can take the high ground by rocket jumping from here like this. This is a very quick step up and very quick retake the high ground, and from here you have a lot of options to DPS. Like, don't bother to rotate over the stairs there. Like, if you take this high ground, you can quickly check here and see what's happening. Like, just check, and if nobody is trying to push you, just DPS and like proceed with the DPS as long as possible. And when the payload and your team are over there, I would suggest to rotate on this side, because if you're staying over there, you don't have good sight lines and you probably not gonna do anything. So stay here, hug this wall, DPS from here. Yes, you're not on the high ground, but it's a better option. You can also go on this side, but personally I don't like it, because somebody can flank you from here, and as you can see, there is almost no vision and you can die. So I would say that stick this wall, stick this high ground. Here also you can hide yourself, here. Many options, you know, but always pay attention to what's happening, pay attention to the details. So if the payload is over here and you have already capped, you as a soldier 76 on this map, usually you want to pick the longer sight lines. So you want to stay here and poke over there, but keep in mind that this is a very open area. As you can see from there, they can always see you. But the reason why this spot is good for you is because if you decide to take this high ground here, it's almost impossible for you because they can simply cover themselves up behind this wall and you cannot approach them. You cannot brawl them here with soldier. That's a big no-no. So either this high ground or just rotate through the stairs here like this and poke from here. Like these are the options that you have, not more. These are the options and you need to apply as much pressure as possible. So from here, if you are able to take this high ground, you can stay here in the middle and poke from here. Or if you're able to take this high ground, you can poke from here. Never, like, if you stay here, keep in mind that you might get hard zoned here. Like, somebody might come from here, somebody might pick you here and here. And, like, there is almost no chance for you to hide here. So I don't like personally this spot, and I would always stay here. From here I can also see here, and see there. Also can do that, you know, mini, a lot of options. So stay this inside room rather than here. You can stay here if you have shields, if you have supports, if you're not alone. But if you are alone, mini. If you're going on the right side, I would say that you need to be very careful because this sideline here is a hookable range. You might get hooked from Hawk. If you stay here, this is a good long distance, but you have vision only over there. And here, you can't see the window. So, I would say that preferably stay here, DPS over then. And if the payload is over here, rotate on the other side. That's the better case. Also, you can come here and try to find some close picks, but be very careful when you're doing that. Soldier is a pokey hero. You need to do the poke stuff, you know? Do I remember any rotations here? No. So we go forward. Oh, the third point, Soldier 76, is kinda shit, to be honest. And usually you'll be more like a shield break hero rather than like trying to do some insane stuff. So stick with your team, do the shield break, and try to push the payload. Like try to force and push the payload to here, to this area. So from this area, if their tanks are standing over here, or like if the payload is here and their tanks are standing over there, just try to take this high ground. The reason for this high ground is first, you have natural cover. Yes, they can see you from here that you're about to approach and peek, but you can still see the high ground over there, which is very important for you because you can apply constant pressure. And you can see all of the things that are happening on the lower ground there. So, that being said, you stay here, you DPS. Another option, if they have a very good Widowmaker or Ashe and you are not able to pick for too long here, you can stay on the lower ground and pick from here. Just build your ultimate, build your visor. For this point, you need your ultimate. You cannot solo carry without ultimate. Like, yeah, I know that ultimate is always important for other points too, but I am saying general wise this point is even more important because you are relying on your ultimate to do some damage, to do the team wipe, to do a lot of stuff. So that being said, if you have an Ana, you can stay on this side but poke for a long time. Poke so they think that you're standing here and then ask your Ana to come with you. And when your Ana is with you here, like your team can be a bit passive, you just go out here and nano visor and kill them all, you know, because there is almost nowhere where they can hide, like only the lower ground here, but you're probably gonna find some picks. Keep in mind that if this doesn't work, this is very risky move here and this might not work, but still, if it works, you're gonna push till then. If it doesn't work, I mean, it's unlucky, at least you tried. But usually in lower elo, players are not expecting that and you can pull it off. So, if this is not working and you need to stay with your team, just stick with your team and push the payload. There is an option to get on this high ground from the payload, but I would not recommend because if you go there, there is no natural cover that you can hide and you can get sniped from there and there. So, use your natural cover, DPS, and don't move forward after this line. Just stay here and hug this wall. Hug this wall or this wall. But I would say this wall is a bit better because you can quickly pick the both sides. From here, you need to re-pick a lot in order to see the both sides. Let me think for offense. I think that's it. Okay, let me go to the defensive point of the Havana. So, on defense with Soldier 76, you need to know one thing. You want to play the poke damage again, because Havana has long sightlines. And to compete with the snipers, you gotta be very careful. So I will say this one thing. Never, like never, stay here if you don't have shield. If you have shield, you are allowed to stay here. But only if you have shield, because you can get sniped. So never stay here. If you wanna stay anywhere, just stay on the lower ground and do the poke damage, you know? Just poke. Poke as long as possible. And rotate on time. Don't forget to rotate, because if they push the payload to this choke here, you are supposed to rotate already to here. And if they're able to push the payload over here, you can now take the high ground. I'm gonna explain why. So, if the payload is over there, that would probably mean their backline is standing here or they're inside. That would mean the Widowmaker is here, 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 like probably somewhere here, but not over there. And this is your chance to go out, right click and kill the Widow. This is your chance to do that. Don't try to stay on this high ground when the payload is in the long alley. It will mean that you probably die, especially if you don't have shield. So from here you have many options. You have many options to damage, and you have many options to damage from here when they're rotating with the payload. Keep in mind that from this range you're hookable in a hookable range and a pokeable Sigma range. So you gotta be very cautious when you're picking here. You gotta have your cooldowns. If you don't have your cooldowns, just like try to rotate with your team. If you don't have Mercy Pocket, just hide, wait for your cooldowns and re-engage again, or find the backline pick. If by any chance you're coming from spawn, which is the best rotation for you to take? So depending on the payload's location, for example, if the payload location is over there, of course left side. But if the payload location is over here, I would say always try to take, like, if your team are able to contest earlier, you don't need to start the fight earlier. You can try to find this long right side rotation from here. From here you have quick access to the mini and you have opportunities to do damage. While your team will probably stand over there, you can start and try to find some backline picks from here, which will result probably in you being able to capture the point. Of course, if you have opportunities to visor, I would say that visor from here is also good, visor from the other side over there is also good, and visor from this high ground is also good. Okay, for second point, depending on how they play, usually they would love to take this high ground or the other one, depends what team composition they're playing. If they're playing double shield, they will probably try to take this high ground. If they're playing rush, they will come from here. If they come from here, you spam over there as long as possible and back to this little room here, so you can proceed with spam, and then back to here and proceed with spam, and then back to here and proceed with spam, and then rotate here and proceed. You know, guys, you know the drill. Rotate and spam, rotate and spam. If they're playing double shield, you gotta be very cautious. You gotta spam as long as possible, and you can use this as a natural cover, but don't fail behind your team, because if your team are already rotating to there, because like some teams are getting out here, waiting for cooldowns and re-engaging. That's good thing. But if your team don't wait for cooldowns and they rotate over there, you just gotta follow them. There is nothing you can do about. And if the enemy team is taking this high ground, you can rotate on this side here. Like if they're playing double shield and they're taking the other high ground, you can rotate to here and try to DPS from here. But be very careful when you're doing those rotations, because if they play Widowmaker, Soldier 76, Cassidy, they can actually kill you, and this would probably result in not a very pleasant outcome for your team fight. So, if by any chance the payload is over there and you need to recontest, which is the best approach? Always the best approach is taking the high ground. I mean, yeah, I know every single one of them would like watch this window. Okay, you can pick here or you can pick here, like it doesn't matter. Or if you have more time, you can, I mean, not drop, of course, not drop, never drop. I mean, you know what I mean. But come from here and DPS from here. As you have this door here and you can protect yourself, healing station and DPS. But this is too long, it will take too much time. You don't have vision of the other side, you need to rotate again, which is not okay. So as a quick respawn repick, this window or the other one. If you need to clear someone from there, you can then rotate on the other side, but personally I don't like it. Because first, you can get hooked, spammed from here and you can die. So don't do it. For second point here, depending on what you're playing, I would say that this high ground is very crucial when you're keeping the payload. So for example, your mercy can stay here, damage boost you, and you can just like spam as long as you want and try not to die, you know, like try to peek with your sightline and try to be annoying as possible. If the payload is over there, like, you should not be here already. You should have rotated like an ages ago. And you can stay on this high ground here. Like, you don't have many options to play with soldier on the third point, but all of the options that you have are very good. So this high ground is strong. You have many options to pick here and there. And the other high ground is also good. The high ground on the other side is good only when you want to split the focus when you're recontesting the payload when they're pushing. So it's okay to take the other high ground if your DPS is coming on this side. Keep that in mind. Okay, what else? I think that's it for Havana. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please be sure to give it a like and see you in the next video. Bye bye.